Good evening. Good evening, everyone. I know I'm about 8 minutes late, but I had to get my mind together for this. I had to get my mind right because there's a few issues that we're going to have to discuss. I'm going to wait for everybody to load in. I'm going to wait for everybody to get here. For those of you watching on YouTube or any other device, this is a live cabinet meeting from Facebook, so it may be a slight delay. Now, with that being said, we will discuss briefly the Mueller report because we don't want to run away from that. But this meeting is specifically geared to my hometown, Baltimore City. If you haven't been watching the news, Captain Crunch has come from my city, specifically Elijah Cummings, which is the congressman from my district, in regards to the state of the city, how it's run. I'm going to wait for everybody to get in. Y'all are loading in. What's going on? Lonnie, Sherelle, how y'all doing, everybody? I know it's been a while. Elisa, how's it going, everybody? Jelani, my high school roadie in the building, MJ. I'm fitting to go in for my city. Now, I'm going to tell you now, I want to address this meeting in separate parts because I am going to address Captain Crunch. I'm going to address the politicians in Baltimore, and I'm going to address the citizens because it is my strong belief that no government is ran, no city is run without the cooperation of all of those parties. Okay? So, I'm going to tell you now, some of you going to feel the way at the conclusion of this meeting. I really don't give a fuck. Some of y'all might say, bitch, you was right. I'm with you, and that's great. Be mindful. If you try it, I will block you. I don't do a bunch of arguing. I state my piece, and I call it a motherfucking day. Okay? So if you get reckless in them comments, sis, you start coming for my personal attributes or character, I will block the fuck out of you. Okay? But feel free. Express your opinions. Just do it in a respectful manner. If I find that you being, apprehensive to some of the cabinet members or people in the comments, bitch, I will block you. Okay? Now, with that being said, the first part of this meeting, we're going to address Captain Crunch. And all of these people in government or his followers or whoever who feel some kind of way or agree with what he said. I come to you as a born and raised Baltimore City resident. I am from Northwest Baltimore City, born and raised my entire life. And let me tell you something, I've never ran away from that. Anybody who knows me, who have followed me, know that I love my city to the death. Okay? And I'm going to tell you something about Baltimore City. It was a boy from Baltimore who decided one day to open a goddamn book about one of your former employees, Donald Trump, that went viral, that got watched by millions. And I'm from the same district that Elijah Cummings is in charge of. So don't tell me about a shithole city and what it produces and how it's infested and all of that. Because yes, I may curse like a motherfucking sailor down on the block picking up a prostitute, but I know my shit. And guess what? I'm from West Baltimore City, bitch. A Baltimore bitch did that. A boy from West Baltimore, and I'm not going to make this about me solely, but I'm saying this to make a point. A boy from West Baltimore had high school students getting reinterested in politics, picking up books to learn how the government that your whack ass is manipulating, okay, works. A boy from West Baltimore City did that, okay? I am tried and true Baltimore City. I am from the era of the city that reads, bitch, okay? I didn't watch The Wire, I lived it. Okay? I'm talking Kirk L. Schmoke, Kwesi Mfume, bitch. Donald motherfucking Schaefer, bitch. I am a Baltimore City resident. I don't give a fuck if I'm not saying it politically correct. Because goddamn it, I'm not fighting a monster that's politically correct. Okay? For all of these bitches that's not really from here. Okay? And I'm talking to you. If you have not lived in the greatness and the trials of Baltimore City, you are not qualified to speak on the legacy or history of this city. Okay? I have lived here my entire life. I lived here when y'all erected Harbor Place. When all these people from D.C. was coming down here, it was bumper to bumper traffic, bitch. You couldn't even find a place to eat down the harbor. That's where I come from. All right? I come from a time when it was the city that reads, when there was literacy programs. That's why I'm able to convey. I can code switch like a motherfucker. I can give you West Baltimore on a block, and I can give you, hi, my name is Emmanuel. How may I assist you today? I'm sorry you feel that way. Thank you. That's Baltimore City Public Schools, bitch. Okay? For all of you who got shit fucked up, I'm spending the first 10 minutes letting y'all know what the fuck it is. I'm from a city that produced Billie Holiday, a woman who was raped and dogged by her own personal demons, but still managed to make history and have Diana Ross play her in a motherfucking film. Edgar Allan Poe, bitch. I don't need to run down my resume. All them red table talks for all you new bitches that don't know your history. All them red table talks y'all love to watch. That's the Baltimore bitch hosting that. I know she lives in LA and she don't talk about us much, but that's the Baltimore bitch doing that. Shout out to Jada Pinkett Smith. Okay? I come from a place where we eat real motherfucking crab cakes, bitch. I'm not talking about that shit y'all getting shit from Venezuela. If it ain't out the Chesapeake Bay, bitch, I don't want nothing to do with it. If it got a bunch of bread in it, bitch, I don't want nothing to do with it. It better be all meat lump, jumbo lump, with some motherfucking crab cake classic, bitch. Don't tell me about Baltimore City and you don't know about when Lexington Market used to have the chocolate festival, bitch. Where you used to go to Super Kids and get your back to school uniforms. Charlie Rudo's, bitch. Changes. Outline. Mondama before it was turned into Towson with a Cinnabon and shit, bitch. Don't come from my motherfucking city. And the greatness that it is, divine. Divine. For all of you bitches upset about a black girl playing Ariel in The Little Mermaid, let me remind you that the villain in The Little Mermaid, Ursula, is modeled after Divine, a Baltimore drag queen brought to the spotlight by a Baltimore filmmaker by the name of John Waters. So when you put in that little VHS with the plastic case, bitch, and you want to go under the sea, just know it's a Baltimore bitch that's playing a villain that inspired all you hoes that want to cosplay and fight over who gonna play Ursula in The Little Mermaid. Okay? For all you weak bitches. Just to remind you. And here's the second part of this. For all of these celebrities that don't come home, we never see you. But when it's an uprising, or we in the national press, or the Ravens win the Super Bowl for the second time and Beyonce performing, shaking her ass, making the lights go out, we need to see you more. Not just when we in national news. Shout out to the brother that did that very poignant piece on CNN because he's from Baltimore. But brother, I had no fucking clue you was from here because we never fucking see it. You know why Atlanta got capital? New York, they see their people that aspire and do well. Can you imagine what the children of this city, how they would feel if they saw all of these reputable people? Even if you came by to do a goddamn TED Talk, showed up at a school to hand out fucking lunches. You know how they would feel to see Jada, see Monique, see the motherfucker from CNN, see all these people that they don't see. Not just at some goddamn fundraising gala where the actual citizens who live here don't see you. Okay? That's what I'm saying. Let me also run down some statistics for you. Elijah Cummings is not perfect, and we're going to get to that. But this area behind Atlanta, I believe, one of the counties in Atlanta, has the highest number of college-educated fucking adults for black people. That's a fact. That's a fact. Okay? We home to Johns Hopkins, who we're going to get to them and the shit they pulling right now. Social Security Administration employs a lot of folks here. They're upstanding people that live here. So cut the shit. Okay? We definitely have our problems, but we are a city of pride. We are a city of heritage. Okay? For all you music bitches. Y'all like MIA and all these motherfuckers. Guess where that shit came from? Baltimore club music, bitch. That whole Collar album is Baltimore club music. Facts. Okay? So cut the shit. Now, with that being said, a city does not run with just the government. It runs with its citizens. Now, as much as I love Baltimore City, we have to take ownership as citizens for the state of our city as well. Yes, the police is to blame. But guess what? To a certain degree. Since the 80s, Baltimore has not had a police commissioner last more than 5 years. In fact, most of the police commissioners in Baltimore only make it to 2 or 3. A few of them only lasted a year or a couple months. And this is since the 80s. Okay? So that tells me something. Now, granted, in the 80s, the war on drugs it really ravaged Baltimore as it did a lot of metropolitan cities. But that tells me something about how things are ran in government. Now, I appreciate Jack Young and all the city council members coming out and doing that dog and pony show and coming back at Trump. But what the fuck are y'all doing? Okay? Now, it is a fact. We just had an issue with the school systems with no heating. How are these contracts being dispersed? Are we just giving them to our friends and saying, bitch, just do enough and keep the rest? You have to answer that. Okay? You have to answer that. We just had a heating problem with Baltimore City Public Schools. With this crime. I'm born and raised Baltimore City, as I said earlier in this video. But my question is, what are we really doing with this crime? Because it's a delicate balance. Because, as I stated in a Facebook post, either you over police and the police go buck wild, and you have situations like Freddie Gray, Or the police feel like, well, shit, I ain't trying to get involved in no more bullshit or go to jail or investigations. So they leave shit alone, and then we have what we have now. There has to be a meeting of the minds. There has to be a meeting of the minds between the government and the citizens. Right now, the citizens, in my opinion, as somebody who actually fucking lives here, okay, do not trust the government. They have a very pessimistic view of the government, which is very qualified. Because when you have parents having to buy heaters for school systems where they pay taxes, I would feel the same way. At the same time, the government here is very institutionalized. It's an institution. Okay? And I had the privilege to go to when they swore in the new city councilmen in the last election, when they swore in the new city council members. I saw firsthand as a citizen how things are grandfathered in here. Okay? It's very much, we know how this runs, we know how this works. There are people who are dynasties in Baltimore politics. The Conaways, Jack Young's been here for forever. Let's lay it all out on the table. Okay? They know they're going to get the vote. Now, in that respect, even though it's not about Captain Crunch being right, but that is a valid point. But that's a valid point in politics across this country. So to single out one city for something that is a national issue is a deflection to me. It's a deflection from that Mueller testimony, which, yes, the Mueller testimony, it was like, oh, he should be charged when he comes out, but we already knew that. With me, what Mueller is saying is not new. It's not new, and it's not nothing for me to get excited over, which is why I didn't personally feel the need to cover that. Because what the fuck did he do? He said the same shit that we already knew, that he kind of alluded to, that he'd been going back and forth for. Okay? Now, you say the government here is very institutionalized, which I will agree. So that brings me to the citizens. Now, I'll pull some stats because, you know, I go on my rants, but a bitch do like to have cold, hard facts. In Baltimore City, and I went as far back, and we're just talking purely Baltimore City. We're not talking the counties. We're not talking the state. We're talking purely Baltimore City. In Baltimore City, there's roughly over 600,000 residents, according to the census, the last census here. There are almost 400,000, there are about 390,000 registered voters, okay? In the 2007 election, which was the election, I believe, I think that was Sheila. I feel like only around, and looking, and I wish I had my computer, but it's in the shop. But I looked it up, and about out of 400,000 registered voters, only like 60,000 voted. In the election for Stephanie Rawlins Blake in 2011, only 60,000, something like that, 80,000 voted. I guess 400,000 registered voters. Okay? In the latest election with Kathy Pugh, it was a better turnout. The total number of people that turned out to vote was around 230,000. So, for two elections out of the past three, We just didn't show up. We didn't show up. So we let this much of the population decide who was going to run the city that we now complain about. And you can look it up, bitch. Look it up. Feel free to look it up. I want the citizens to sit with that real quick. 60 goddamn thousand out of 400,000 registered voters. 80,000 out of 400,000 registered voters. And the reality is this. We can sit and say the people are disillusioned. And that very well may be fact. But out of 400,000 people, only 60,000 turned out in 2007. Y'all complained about Stephanie Rawlings Blake. Only 80,000 of you showed up. So, she damn near won by default. This is a primarily Democratic city. Now, somebody just said they changed voting laws. Even with the voting law change, just one goddamn city. I'm not talking about the state. I'm not talking about other counties. This is just Baltimore City. And it's not hard. As a person who's voted in the last few elections here, it's not hard to go register and cast your fucking vote in the city. Okay? The line might be a little long, but you can go vote. And the thing is, and I'm holding the citizens' feet to the fire right now. Because on those ballots are your judges, your councilmen, your register of goddamn wills. Okay? All of that is on these ballots. So the city that you are complaining about, that you live in, you have a hand in who runs the city while you're pointing at this council person and it's the mayor. It's the mayor. Yes, they only in there because you let them in there. You let them in there. Jack Young is in there by default because Kathy fucked up. And yes, more of you showed up in that election with Kathy. But when I looked at the analytics, and I love Sheila Dixon to death, Kathy got like 100 and some thousand votes. Sheila got about 50,000 write-in. And for those of you who don't know the history of Sheila Dixon, look it up. But you have Josh Harris, who is Green Party, who did present you with some qualified options. He got about 20-some thousand votes. But these are people you put in office. Whether you decide to stay home or you went out and voted for them. And like I said, I don't give a fuck if you feel some kind of way about it. It's my goddamn page. But you gotta take back your city. We got to hold our parents accountable. Yes, we need funding for rec centers. When the last time you called your councilman? When the last time you really showed up in their face? Do you even know who the fuck your councilman is? Do you even know what they look like? I bet you if I held a picture, I went to people on the street and held a picture of your local councilman, you would ask me, who the fuck is this? Did he die? You don't even know. But every time something goes wrong, we never look inside. And like I said, I'm born and raised here. And one thing that I was raised on in Baltimore City, whenever I took a hit, the city that I come from, we owned that shit. We took a look at ourselves. That's one thing I'm challenging you guys to do. Erica Bridgeford, Baltimore ceasefire campaign. Some will say, oh, what is she doing? That's a waste of time. She's doing something. Help that sister out. Give her a phone call, go volunteer, hand out a poster, do something. And I ain't saying I'm the Dalai Lama of this shit. But if you're going to go on camera and complain, Baltimore ceasefire. They say, oh, they're not doing enough. They're not working. But the owner of, I believe it was Rowley's Oysters or one of those companies, made a mockery out of the Baltimore ceasefire when that woman is actually doing something to help her community. Okay? And this is not a Baltimore problem. This is a nationwide problem. You go to any metropolis right now and we're having the same problems. But since Baltimore was brought to the floor, I'm going to speak on Baltimore City. Okay? Now, to the politicians. It's over. You're going to have to get out in these streets. You're going to have to start talking to your people. Now, Elijah, we came to your defense, bitch. I'm not saying you a bitch, but y'all, that's gender non-specific. Y'all know how the fuck I do with my bitch. Y'all know that's my favorite curse word. We came to your defense because our city was under attack. But you've been warned. Stop taking these votes for granted. And I say that to all of these politicians. Get out here and get reacquainted with the citizens of your city. Talk to them. Yes, they're going to be hard on you. But if you from Baltimore, you should be ready for that. Have these town hall forums. Hell, if you gotta have security there, fucking shit, have security there. But at least have the forum. I know there's talks about the rec centers being reopened on Saturdays. Do it! But stop taking these votes for granted. Because we do have a mayoral race coming up. And I got a strong feeling that shit is going to be different. It's going to be different. Now, for the people who just moved here, you've been living here for a couple of years, you think you got it down pat, you're not qualified to speak on Baltimore City. Okay? You're not qualified. And I want to make that very clear to you. You're not qualified to speak on the legacy and history of this city. If you don't like it, help change it. But my question is, why did you come here in the first goddamn place? If it's so bad, if it's so fucked up, what made you come here? You know why you came here? Because you couldn't cut it in LA. You couldn't cut it in New York. You couldn't cut it in Atlanta. You know that if you're working in the medical field, you want to go to Hopkins. You know you have a better chance of getting a good education and a residency here. See, I know these things because I have friends who've done this. You wanted to go to Micah because you couldn't quite make it into Juilliard. Okay? So, either get your degree, help progress the city, and be a good citizen and contributing member to society, or get your degree, shut the fuck up, and leave like everybody else did. It's very simple. But you're not going to do that. Why? Because you can still afford to live here nicely. See, here you don't need a roommate. Yet. But that's coming. But for right now, you can have a nice little apartment instead of going to Brooklyn and having to live in a closet with 3 other people. And still live your little art life. Okay? You can still go and have a reasonable amount of drinks. Get drunk. Get drunk. Added a T. No city girls. And then go to sleep and wake up the next morning and go phone it in at work. That's why you're here. You're also here because you're waiting out the gentrification period. So you're living in Hamden, Remington. I remember when nobody cared about Remington. Canton. Okay? And you're just waiting. You're waiting till all the infestation, the black people, to help make this city, outgrowing Latin population down in Patterson Park, South Baltimore. You're just waiting. And what you're doing is you're creating places like our house. Cross Street Market, Broadway Market. You're making it real DC-like. How many of those stalls in those markets actually service the citizens that don't live in highfalutin areas? Y'all couldn't wait to get Lexington Market, could you? You couldn't wait for Lexington Market. Bitch, y'all was waiting for Lexington Market. And granted, Lexington Market definitely need work. But why couldn't we work with what we had? Why you gotta destroy the legacy and the history? And then create some shit where we'll have a Target down the street of CVS. Y'all love to knock shit down and put a CVS there. Shout out to CVS. Y'all really low-key be contributing to the gentrification here. Okay? But y'all couldn't wait to get Lexington Market. You might keep Fadley's there just for aesthetic, to make it feel real. But we know what y'all doing. If I want to pay $20 for sushi, bitch, I can go to goddamn Ra. I don't go to Lexington Market for that. Okay? But that's why you're here. So while you're here, that's the real infestation. Because you're destroying the culture of a city. When I think Baltimore, I think Hairspray. Not that Disney bullshit. I'm talking about the John Waters production with Ricky Lake, bitch. When I think Baltimore City, I think LaVan Hawkins opening the first Checkers. I think about Park Heights. Okay? I think about the original Hun Fest. I think about high hair, burrow curls, the waterfall, bitch, the raised fucking finger waves with the French roll in the back. I'm talking about Paradox, Choices, Volcanoes for all you throwback bitches, Silver Shadows, you drive out Columbia, bitch. Okay? So don't come for Baltimore City. To the citizens of Baltimore, this is a battle cry. We're being tested. Let's take our city back. I'm charging myself to do more. I have my own individual goals, but I'm charging myself to do more. Hopefully this video does something. Share it. Remind people of who we are. For all of you people who are watching who have left Baltimore, we still love you. We know why you left. We get it. We understand. But don't let us throw us under the bus. But you know what it is. Yes, LaShawn O'Dowds, Mervo, my fellow Mustang, Erica, Cole. And you're right, Holly. Keosin, is that your last name? I'm sorry if I butchered it. Memory lane don't save lives, but complaining don't either. So everybody pick up a broom, roll up your sleeves, and let's get to work. Until then, you guys have a great evening, a great rest of your week. If you feel some kind of way, please feel free to express your opinion in the comments. But if you try, bitch, I will block you. Okay? Other than that, beautiful gowns available on all streaming platforms, bitch. We are shooting a pull-up video August 17th. I've got some great news coming. You guys have a great evening. I'm going to go finish watching The Boys on Amazon. It's a great show. I highly recommend it. Peace and love from Baltimore City. It's your Baltimore. Don't trash it, bitch.